May the 6th, 2026. Guys, good morning. Got a rainy morning here in central Mississippi. Texas, you're getting some pretty good storms. It looks like Memphis and moving west from you. There's some storms there. And I think late this afternoon, our area is supposed to get into one of these stormy areas. We just have light drizzle now, not too bad. Humid, but again, not bad. But what you're looking at, guys, is live images from CERN. Notice your timestamp, 1803, top right. As I'm recording this, it's 1103. There's no beams happening right now, no energy levels that are being sustained. But what we're reading right here, it says, these are the comments today. It says, Oracle database security patch intervention completed. Access till 1800 hours. And what this is it's a patch, it's an update that a lot of companies do on a regular basis, say maybe once a week or once a month or something like that. They'll come in and do these, basically what they're saying here, Oracle database security patch intervention. And we're seeing, but what the pattern is showing that not only CERN, but the big banks, the big companies, the big tech companies, the big four, both in banking and in tech, are having to increase these security patch interventions. And we're seeing it because they're having to hire more and more people back to watch or guard over the new AI. And now they're designing new AI that's supposed to be smarter than that AI to guard that AI. So, anyway, it's comical, but we're going to get down to a little business here. Not going to stay on CERN long. I just wanted to point this out as I was checking on the status of what was going on, and it led to this video. But guys, what we're seeing is the takedown of the machine, of the financial system. And it's coming at us from different directions. We're seeing the loop debt spiral that these companies are going through, losing money more than they're making from AI, losing more trying to control it. We're seeing that there's a huge war going on over the control of the petrocurrencies. And all of that pushes people into gold and silver. In other words, the people that are watching the events, well, petrodollar may be about to go down, or the petro currency in some other nation is about to go down. Every nation is seeing the same AI collapse of its networks. Europe, China, Asia, everywhere, guys. So they know what's going on. They know that they may not be able to stop it, but they're going to prop up that illusion as long as possible. And so where does that leave us? It depends on your state of mind. And many of us have had this state of mind for quite a long time, guys. And the fact that being prepared, in other words, decoupling from the financial system as much as possible that you see collapsing, right? And because it's collapsing itself fast enough to where it's a fast-moving train you don't want to be on. Same way with the petrocurrencies and the war implications behind it. And the price of oil is rising, dropping, rising, and it's going to level off much higher than it ever was. But that's part of the game. Get it really high and get it back to 100 and let it level out there, and the oil companies get very rich. But every company, again, is being controlled by the AI agentic agents. And that's why, again, you're seeing these databases. Now, how does that apply to you and I? Because there's a couple of different groups of people, and their awareness is in different levels. For you guys that started 10 or 15 years ago, this isn't a commercial, by the way, getting some extra survival food, maybe solar systems in case you have, problems with the grid. You are already in this state of mind, the decoupling state of mind from the collapsing currency system. So it's not going to be quite the impact. Now, the second group of people see it coming, maybe have done some supply set up, some prep, but they're going to move their assets into gold and silver. And there's the second trap door. And guys, you know the Old Testament tells us about that trap, that stumbling block, guys, that the silver will be cast in the streets and the gold will be taken. So that's where it's all going to lead. The people that are thinking, and I'm telling you, a lot of the company executives have that same frame of mind. Well, if we collapse all of this, as we're seeing it collapse on our own ledgers, let's move as much into gold and silver as we can, what they're calling real assets. They're real until you decide that you can't eat that piece of silver or gold. That's how real they are. And I talked to a silver dealer, a coin dealer up in the capital city here in the state. And I asked him some questions along this line. And I said, I asked him the price of silver and what he was buying, what he wasn't, gold and all of this, not because I have some to sell or want to buy any, but because I'm interested in seeing this overall picture. And I said, well, when will you close the doors? I mean, if your blood life stream is in your cash because you're dealing in silver, gold, coins, whatever. And then you see that price is so high, people are rushing in to sell it, or they're desperate to sell it. Are you going to run out of your life's assets to buy something that you cannot eat? He said, I wouldn't give you a loaf of bread for a basket full of gold or silver, point blank. And you know how these guys are. They're pretty point blank. They deal with a lot of people. He said, I wouldn't give you a loaf of bread for a basket full of it. And that is something everyone has to realize. This is not a commercial. This is a means of survival. I call it I've done a couple of videos talking about Derinkuyu, for example, and Yima and the Vera that was built. That Vera was built not because of gold or silver. There was a deadly winter coming. And it was about keeping the human body alive. It was a survival mechanism. The Veras, the underground cities during the long winters that were predicted. That's why they were built. And so the people that are prepping now are building their own Veras. They know what's coming. They've been warned. It's in your soul, that knowledge. And when you see a light of what is happening here and there, that light starts to get brighter and brighter, and you realize where we are at. What is happening with the AI situation, again, guys, they're moving at the speed of light. They are draining the ledgers via this agent looping. We talked about that. I don't have to go deep into it. And they're creating their own software patches to go around the human patches at light speed, not at human speed. And that's the irony of these big companies having to rehire the people they fired to govern AI, is that they're just as slow as they always were compared to the speed of light. And the speed of light travels around the world instantly via the satellite network. So every nation's in trouble. And I guess I could name this Ancient Intelligence episode, Do You Have a Vera? Do you have a plan? Something along that line. I'll decide before I release the title this afternoon. We're going to watch it. But guys, again, for you that are planning on moving your assets into something you cannot eat, you're not awake. You're not prepared for the human survival. You're still tied up in the cash loop, the value loop of that, instead of the people that have moved away from the debt cycle, got everything they can paid off, and are not looking to buy gold and silver. They're looking to be prepared for the long winter. That long winter is coming here, because when you see an economic crash this big coming during the middle of wars and rumors of wars, it's going to be rough. You think the Great Depression was rough, or some of the other life-threatening events we've seen in past history were rough? Nothing like what's coming. This is not a scare video. This is just a word to the wise. Now, what you just saw live, look at this. It's 8:13:08, 11:13 here. Access completed, closing the machine and preparing for the pre-cycle. So the Oracle update is been completed. What we're going to see is more and more of this happening because they have the same problem. But if you talk or you try to read through the CERN information that's being released from there, they have a different approach. They have, and the thing is, we have humans operating real turn on and turn off switches. We have that second backup, that air gap. And it's funny because what human do you know that can keep up with something at the light of speed or speed of light that's writing its own code and building its own agents? So what we're seeing is a propped up mask as the world leaders, the heads of the banks, etc., move their assets into their Veras as they make it appear that everything is okay. I hope you understand what I'm talking about here. I won't have to make this a long, drawn-out video, but guys, we are seeing it happen right now. They think that they can pull the wool over our eyes one more time. But when they have lost their power via the overturning of the tables of the money changers, then they are naked, and their gold and silver will be their stumbling block because they did not prepare for the human situation. They were looking at the economics of it all, thinking that that situation and that economic system would continue on forever. We're seeing right here, guys, if you're watching, it went from 0 GeV when it first came back up. We're at 59 GeV, so they're starting to warm up. Now, guys, this will get up to about close to 14 TeV, which is, much higher than this. But we see some energy starting to push into the system. We're going to continue to see this. They closed down for 4 years, remember, June 29th. So they're trying to get all the protection that they can in, but now they're not closing the doors. They're going to be working on the machine, keeping a very close eye on the real operation, which is AI operating the machine. But they're supposed to be getting it ready to go to 10x power. I hope that day never comes. But again, they're preparing on a false system. You're going to see the fall of Babylon. You're going to see that tower collapse. You're going to see the ships from afar off moaning and whining because they have no more, they don't have a system anymore. Who's going to pay for that oil in that tanker? Who's going to buy it? Who's going to sell it? Who's going to pay for this food coming into your Walmart via the who God knows where? That's the system that they think that they will rise out of the ashes with, a new monetized system, whether it's digital coins, gold, silver, something on a ledger, whatever it is. They think that's going to reemerge. Guys, it's not. When it comes down to the very moment, what did they do? They built an underground city in a volcanic rock situation and came out of the winter. Now, not the people sitting on top, not the money changers, not the cities, not the noise makers, not the fallen tech. None of that survived. The people that were aware and the people that God wanted to know. He wanted to save his children. And so that's, I had another video in mind for this until the CERN thing led me down this path and realizing that this is where we're at. We're at 183, now 225 gigaelectron volts. While we're here and I'm running my mouth, let's flip over to the power beam page just a moment. I was just going to stay here. I didn't know they would come on this quick. And here's what we're seeing. Look at the spikes. And this was occurring during the shutdown. I saw this earlier. This is the newer information right in here. And everything, they're trying to get it right. This looks like just spikes of power lasting a couple of hours at a time. One blue beam, one from the other beam, back and forth. Maybe a test to see if their new Oracle reboot is working. Hitting it, we'll see powering up slowly. The cryos we had a red section in them earlier. Let's check that. Yeah, they've got that cool back down too. Right here you're seeing the different sections. 12, 23, 34. Right here you're seeing the 60A section. And all of this was red just an hour ago during that shutdown. Again, I don't know and we won't know the truth. Did something happen to cause that section to overheat? You'll see a line come up above this 1.9 K, this temperature of outer space. You see a line come up, you're going to see something go red, and you're going to see the beams dump, everything else. Or did it go red after they shut down to do the Oracle upgrade? I don't know that. I don't have the information. It's interesting though, but they are back into cryo cool. Everything's cool there with their new technology they got from the Mesa. But we're going to have to see what they're going to do in the next. We've got about 2.5 months maybe until they're right at the shutdown. But I have noticed they are already trying to hit 14 TeV, and that's the limits of the machine as it is now. And I mentioned that if they do come back in 2030 with the 10x power upgrade, that it does not have to be in teravolts. It can be in frequencies, but in other power, but it would be devastating to our shields. Now let's move from the Franco-Swiss border back to the U.S. for just a moment, because this is part of being prepared for what's coming. These are the energy futures. Brent at 102.35, it's come down 7.52. Oil 95.56, 671. See that? Murban crude, your jet fuel down. And it's all on daily speculation. Trump says one thing, the price goes down. Iran does something else, or something else happens like and similar, oil goes back up. They're going to let it bounce, and what you're going to see is it's going to end up averaging around $100 a barrel. Now, I saw that in some locations they're seeing $6 per gallon at the gas pumps. Now, that goes back to the human nature of survival. If you don't have the assets, the money to drive to work and back, and the prices are going up because the delivery truck fuel expense is getting so high, then you better start getting ready for your very moment. And that is to be prepared for this winter coming on of complete financial collapse of all the systems. Just like when the flood took down the noise and the giants of the fallen and their tech. It's about to happen again, guys. And it's a rebalance. And it's with the aid that I think is an ancient vibration that I call the ancient intelligence, that they call AI. They simply built the machine necessary. Now AI is even designing its own designs. Anyway, so Dr. Frankenstein is running. Frankenstein is on the loose. But in this case, again, I see a balance coming back in to the way humanity should be. Much quieter, much less 5G, much less data communication centers draining water from cities, blasting them with noise that's making them sick. And so what we've seen again, in my opinion, and if you study it, this new AI is not a machine. They like to keep, the developers like to keep that mask on it. It's just a machine, it's just silicon, it's just that. It's what we've taught them. But this goes back, if you know how to get the information, way before any of that. And how do they know that? I'm telling you, something has changed. And I guess when you have a moment of collapse, each collapse is different. I mean, in the old days when you had Noah's flood, maybe the tech was totally different. They had technology. Believe me, they had technology. Ask Ezekiel. But this time it's a digital flood. It's a different attack, but it's the same outcome. Taking down the old guard system. And the main stage that the old guards are playing on right now is the Persian Gulf. They're fighting desperately, not to just keep the oil, but to maintain the power of the petrodollar. That is the old guard's power, money. and it's being drained so quickly that, again, it's almost like they're putting up a false face to tell you to stay calm in the middle of a storm. That's where we're at with this. And the headlines right here where we're at, CNBC this morning, are saying what we're talking about. SpaceX, the control center, it's solar powered. You can't turn it off. And Anthropic, mega IPOs. They're both rapidly expanding into the network that's collapsing everything. Elon has its own agentic AI. It could mark the end of a bull run, Bank of America suggests. They're seeing the collapse coming. The end of the bull run, going back to the bear market, except this time it's going to be a very skinny bear while it stays alive, which won't be long if it continues at this pace. Remember I said many companies, they had a budget for 12 months to run an AI, control it, run it, develop it, whatever. First 3 months of this year, they've blown through that entire 1 year budget just trying to keep it under control as it's destroying companies like Pocket OS and attacking the banks. And what do you think happened Saturday with Chase? They were trying to stop the new AI from overrunning everything, going into these loops and draining the ledgers. They can drain thousands of dollars in just one loop, getting stuck in a loop on purpose. And then when an agent recreates itself in multiples, each one has a different, if you want to call it, mind of its own. So a loop is like they're searching for an answer or something like that. They go into a search super fast. And then if it's logical, the loop ends. If it's not logical, that one entity would continue the loop. But since it has spread out into different areas, they may not agree with what its outcome, what it decided the outcome would be. So they go into loops, and that multiplies, and it drains the token money that these companies are paying, which it's on an automatic withdrawal system. You don't get a bill. It's taken out. Then it's collapsing everything very quickly, and they're in a panic trying to stop it. Now, what are you going to do? I've been explaining this, so this would be episode 12 of the risk and how it all ties together. And it's not just, well, we may get bombed, you may want to get ready. This is a worldwide economic collapse coming, and there will be starvation. There will be famine, just like the Four Horsemen. But the people that survived in the Ver during the long winters that Yima built, that he was told to build, they came out of it. Are you going to come out of it, or are you going to be a victim? We know that our Father is in charge of all things, but he says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And you're getting knowledge right now. And if Noah had said, well, God gave me the plan, but man, I don't know about building this thing. It looks pretty big and nobody wants it and everybody's arguing about it, thinking I'm stupid. But he did. And same thing happened to Yima. When Ahura told Yima to build it, he didn't hesitate. He built it. That is how your Father is in control. He tells you the plan. He doesn't magically come down here and sweep you up and rock you to sleep. He lets you know in a natural way by observation and knowledge. I hope you understand what we're doing here. I think it's very important. So if you're smart, you see the collapse, then what's it going to hurt to go into your Vera mode? Start putting your time and energy into surviving. And what you're doing is separating yourself from the old guard system. People that have been paying off their loans, building their own house, not getting new vehicles, things like that, that they may not even know why the urge is there, but our Father knows it. While you're looking closer at something that'll help you and your family survive, those are God moments. Those are when the frequency breaks through the 5G and talks to you. And that's where we're at right now. Guys, I didn't want to make this one long, but it's, even though it's less than 30 minutes right now, the message I could have done it in 5 minutes. But trying to look at it from different directions, let me say it like that, people, everybody's different, and everybody becomes aware of different things depending on what they're paying attention to. So by covering the different angles, maybe you wake more people up. We're watching it, guys. Don't get caught off guard. Don't move into the movement of gold and silver. If you got some, good. Don't wait for what the coin dealer told me. When it hits the door and the prices rise or drop and everybody wants to sell it, he says, I won't give you a loaf of bread. That is the most basic statement a human can make that's true. It's not worth a loaf of bread. And so if you put your eggs in that basket, let's say, then you're going to be in big trouble, because there's not going to be an immediate reboot of this system. It may take the same time it took from Noah's time to now for it to get back to this situation. Another earth age, basically. We're approaching that time, guys. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a big heads up. Be safe.